Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It is the holidays fast approaching, a lot of stress, hustle and bustle, craziness, and sometimes you just need a moment. How do you calm down from all of that? Even if you factor out the holidays, our lives are so crazy. Calm, peace. How do we find that? She's going to help us. She's a Reiki master. She's also a teacher, intuitive life coach, and clairvoyant medium. Joan Widen is back with us. Hey, Joan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me back.
You seem calm.
But I'm not. I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah. But it is like you go through the
Oh,
day and you forget because we are creatures of habit. So we're just used to go until you realize either your body says you're stopping or you just get frazzled. So what's the number one thing you would suggest if somebody needs to get to that point where they need to calm down?
so the number one thing I would say is just stop and breathe. A lot of doctors will say, you need to actually meditate, but meditation is really, really hard for a lot of people because they just can't shut this down, right? They're like, well, you just need to meditate. And I'm like, okay, well, do you meditate? They kind of give that up. Well, no, do as I say,
Right.
not as I do, kind of thing, right? And so meditation, everyone's always said you sit here, sit up straight and you calm, you close your eyes and you just breathe and you shut off your mind. Well, that's great in the perfect world. I'm going to tell you 90%, 99% of people can't do that, right? We're just not a monk that can just turn off and let's do that. We're in the city. Even I'm not in the city anymore, and it's still very, right? So, what I like to do is take your focus off the day to day stuff. We've got everything buzzing, right? So, we have our watches that talk to us all the time. So, I've taken that off now and I've put on a traditional watch. We have our other device, and then we also have our phones, right? So, everyone can always get us. And those emit electricity, energy, and it's always attacking us. So to calm down, I like to go, okay, let's go quiet because since we're always in a fight or flight state, we're always like everything you hear something, it's like, oh, look, squirrel. And then you just look and then the concentration is gone, right? So you could have a bag of marbles, right? And you just roll it like this and you can hear it and it kind of soothing. And then you go, okay, let's just concentrate on this sound, right? So there's those. You can pick any sort of crystal if you'd like. Another great thing is to write down all your thoughts because everyone's like, Joan, I can't keep my mind still. Doesn't matter what I do, I have all these things in my head because I don't want to forget it. Take it your favorite pen, right? And write down everything that you need to do afterwards. And then you go, okay, now I can clear my mind because now I know I won't forget because I now have a list of what I need to do. Do you know what I mean? Then you can shut off. Meditation also could be just shuffling cards, right? Just they don't need to do anything. These are just regular
Wow.
playing cards.
Wow. So it's what I'm getting from this, Joan, is it's more of a refocusing your attention somewhere else so that you can get in a better state of mind to meditate.
Right. To actually get there, right? And if you're really in really, really deep funk, right? I like to have a bath, but a bath for me is like an hour long, right? So it's a long process and most people go, Joan, I don't have time for an hour, right? So you can have a foot bath,
Hmm.
these my feet fit in here, but I don't know, you would some people you would have to find a basin that's big enough, right? You don't have to fill the whole tub. You just put enough, sit there, put your feet in there and just relax. And I use Epsom salts, right? And it's a big tub. My tub is huge, so I use at least a third of that in one sitting. So it always says just use a cup or two. I use around 5 cups.
Wow.
And then what that does, it has minerals in it. So it has magnesium that really helps you focus and relax, right? And since it's a salt, it also cleanses your space. So if you're feeling funky and you don't know why, and you go, I don't know what this is, but I just can't get rid of it, that is a great tool because it will clear off any negative energy or anything that you have, right? That's attached to you or just lingering around. And then as soon as the bathtub drains, you go, okay, yeah, it's just going away as down the drain, right? And it's just cleansing.
Now,
And
when
I
you
know it sounds weird, but yep,
no. There's there's a reason we use Epsom salts and have for many years. Is it cleansing the energy at all? Is that part of what's going on with the Epsom salts?
absolutely.
Okay.
It definitely is. It's just like going into the ocean, except for this is cleaner in a sense, and it's hot, right? Because the ocean isn't warm unless you're in the Caribbean, and even then, it's nice to go in because it's cooler than the actual air.
Sure.
So yeah, so I sit in the bathtub for it. It has to be at least for 20 minutes, as hot as you can stand it, and then you can get out.
Wow. All right.
And I kid you not, as soon as I put my toe in there and it's not my crap, all of a sudden I just go, you just sigh. And it's like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier?
What I get from this is you need to find what works for you.
Correct.
Because I spoke to a just like you said before, some people can get right away in a meditative state. I talked to a gentleman who is just he he learned from monks. He really did. I mean, he spent time in Tibet, everything. He says 10 seconds. He's in 5 seconds. He's in a meditative state and he's a pro. And I guess if we worked on it, we could get there to that. I can't. I've tried for years. Just like you said before. And there's been times that I can literally remember the times, Joan, that I was like, I'm there. This is good. I actually fell asleep after a few of those times because I was
Perfect.
so in that state, but um it was nice clarity at that moment, but getting there. And I think it's just our lives are, monks don't deal with Apple watches and cell phones and stress and bills and all that like we
And
do.
kids,
And kids. And there's that.
right?
Yeah.
Kids, spouses, you name it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's less to start out with. How about some other things to calm down? Now that's what we're talking about today.
So the other things I do too is to calm down is going for a walk in the woods, right? Since I live on an acreage now, I have my own park. So I go for a walk in the woods. And if I'm still really, but you have to be present. So you kind of go, wow, look at that. And the last time I went for the walk in the woods, it wasn't snowy here. I saw a quail, I saw a moose, and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like you just see all these different little things that if you just, like we walk in the city, focused to the end goal, you don't see what's around you, right? It's like smelling the roses,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
being, right?
Yep.
So you can have a necklace or beads, right? You can use a rosary and you say either Om or your own mantra. I like to say, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And then thank you. That is more like a pono kind of deal. And it just is relaxing, right? And then if I'm really needing to connect with God, spirit, then I will say the Our Father, right? I grew up Catholic, so Hail Marys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and then some days when things are not necessarily going right, it's not just a prayer for the addicted, right? The God grant me the serenity prayer, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do, but really to cut out the noise, you put yourself in like a safe space that you know, and you can put earplugs in, and then you don't hear anything. And you can also concentrate on your heartbeat, because when they're in, all you hear is your heart beating. And if they're really tight, and you really focus, you can hear the blood swooshing in your
Yeah.
body, right? And so those are amazing to deal with. And you go, oh, okay, but some people can't handle that even, because then that's too loud in a different perspective, right? What else is there?
How about breathing? We hear so much
Thank
about
you.
that, 3 in, 3 out, do the 777. I'm just like, there's so many different ones. Just give me one that's going to work and easy to remember.
Actually, you're right. So just breathing, and breathing, not necessarily just through your mouth, because a lot of us become mouth breathers, and we are not supposed to be. We're should be breathing through our nose, right? In, out as well, not just, we could blow everything out. And that's when we're pushing and clearing everything out. But when we're trying to be still, it's more of let's calm down, right? And it's harder to breathe out through your nose, because we're all used to going and even, right? Like it's more mechanical, and it's let's just do this, let's do this, right? And that's the one thing about smartwatches. It will tell you, hey, maybe it's time for you to breathe. Hey, you know what? You need to stand up.
Mhm.
It's like taking instruction from a computer, but sometimes because we're so busy, we need that, right? And if you need help breathing, figure something out that's going to help you breathe, right? Like there are medicine balls, right? I just have crystals everywhere. So I just, the two, and then you can just put them in, right? You do that. Now, at first, everyone's going to go like, well, wait, but I can't do that. Get some that are small enough for you,
Right.
right? And really, it's just all about breathing. Honestly, meditation for me sometimes is going to play a round of golf. I sometimes go and ask them, hey, is there a spot where no one is playing? Yep, great. Okay, can I just play by myself? Maybe. And I'm like, but I would like to, because then it's just me and the ball. And I know if I'm not focused and not centered, the ball goes pew, like everywhere, instead of where you would like it. Does that make sense? Because
Like,
it's almost like the club tells you, hey, you're that last second you went, hey, look, squirrel. And then it went this way,
you know,
right?
you brought back a memory, Joan, that, and I'll just tell you, I'm always hanging around people. I never go out to eat alone. And I did this months ago. I was like, it's late. I got to get something to eat. So I went to, an Applebee's, and I just sat down there, and 5 seconds, it was awkward, like, by myself. So I ordered. I have to tell you, it was the best meal I had. And it was just a basic, it was nothing, hamburger, whatever, and a beer. And I was like, this is really good. This tastes good. I'm enjoying the flavor of everything, because I didn't have to focus on anybody else. I didn't have
Right.
to keep a conversation going. Not to say that I don't like to, even if it's somebody that you love being with, you're still taking some of the attention away from you to them and not focusing so much on the meal. And it felt like it was a 5 hour experience when it was maybe an hour, if that.
But you see, even eating can be a meditative thing, right?
Hmm,
Because you are focused on, I'm going to eat this. I'm not going to concentrate on what's around me, because if I do, I'll remember that I'm by myself, right? So now did you focused on that beer that tasted so good?
mhm.
And then the sandwich, every bite that you took, you're like, wow, this tastes way better than I remembered it,
Right,
right?
right. Because you don't, you're always, either you got kids with you, you're doing this, doing that. It kind of takes the focus away from you and what you're doing. And I only brought that up because you said you went to go play golf by yourself. and I don't play golf, but I don't know if you have them up there. We have a thing called Top Golf where you go to this facility. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a driving range with,
Okay. Yep.
and it's it's not like just a driving range, kind of bougie. You can order food and like it's like a cool experience. I'm like, I'm going there by myself.
That's a high end here. That's high end.
It's not really, as opposed to just having a field and just knocking balls out, which are fine. This is just more. You have targets, you have electronics where you can keep score, and it
Well,
shows
that's cool.
where the ball went, and it like a radar. Yeah, every ball has a GPS in it, so you know where it went, where your shot went.
Oh boy.
I don't play golf. I'm just saying it's fun. Might be more fun doing it alone because now you don't have to have, blah, 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 have a conversation with somebody.
Right. Like I go and by myself and they're like, you're renting a cart. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, why not?
go and just do. And they're like, that's weird. I'm like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Right.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. The biggest takeaway here is however you center, that works for you. And that is no matter how quickly it is, that is a meditation, right? Everything always is like, this is how it should be. This is that, right? Even a puzzle. A puzzle is a great way to meditate too. But the moment you start getting frustrated because you can't find the pieces, it's time to put it away.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Purpose.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, right. The reason why I decided to talk about this today is I had a friend and she's like, Joan, I need your help. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And she goes, God damn it. Sorry. That in the middle of the night, this bird, the Canadian jay, the whiskey jack, he keeps knocking on our house, keeps hitting it. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, last night it actually pecked on our window. And I went, oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. And I said, so what's going on with you? And I said, I've seen everything, what's going on in your life. And I said, you tell me what you think, and then so she's like, well, I don't know. She goes, is the spirit telling me something? And I'm like, absolutely. And she's like, okay, well, we believe in that. And we're trying to figure it out. Is it like my husband's wife, or not wife, sorry, mother trying to get a hold of us and this and that? I'm like, no, I said, it's really more for you. And she goes, why? And I said, because you're more disturbed about it than your husband is. She's like, oh, but everything's great. And I'm like, I know. For the first time in your life, you're actually very, very happy and you're content and you're happy with your life. And she's like, yeah, I never even really thought about it. And I said, yeah, so your old self and your old pattern is to always be in fight, right? And something's always got to be wrong, right? So, and she goes, so what is that? I'm like, yeah, so he's bringing up irritation, right? I said, so whiskey jack, they're really funny. They like to create mischief. And I said, they're the cheeseburger bird, because when they say like sing, it goes cheeseburger, right? it's kind of what it sounds like.
Never heard that.
Well, so she's like, well, I shot out of bed last night and I tried to figure this out. And I said, okay, so honor the fact that you're super happy and this is the best time in your life now and that you're really happy and it's okay. And she's like, oh, okay. I said, really? She goes, really? And I said, yeah. I said, so when it wakes you up tonight, because it will be there, I said, tell him, thank you for showing me that I still want that irritation in my life, but it's no longer serving me. So thank you, and honor it and let it go. And I kid you not, the next night it never showed up and it was fine.
Wow. That's like, I believe it. You're sent signs, you're sent symbols all the time. They're around us, but we're not calm. So we don't take notice of them and we don't connect them to what they're trying to tell us.
Right. Well, because we don't sit still long enough, right? Our bodies try and tell us that. But then if we're not sitting still long enough, we can't hear it. It's only when we get a cold, we get the flu.
We're forced.
We're forced, right?
Yeah.
And so just like you're like, yay, I'm going to go on holidays in a week. The countdown's on, right? So you're on heightened stress. And the moment you're off, you're like, wouldn't you know it? I got a cold. Right. And it's because now your body's like, okay, now we can relax. And now you're going to have to sit and chill. So if we can try and balance our lives instead of on the go, 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 go all the time, when we have our holidays and it's time to party it up, we don't have to experience that cold.
Well, it's also too, why did you get that cold? Because you beat on your immune system because you're always running.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. That's the time when I get sick. When I doesn't happen often, but it's lack of sleep. I always know it's like, up, something's coming on. I'm gonna try and get 8 hours tomorrow night. I'm gonna try my best. And that's how I know.
But it's a go, go, go situation, right? And that's how we have been conditioned,
yeah.
right? Even though we live in cities and we have our houses are safe for the most part, right? It's not like our ancestors where, they were sleeping out on the prairies and in the woods, in the mountains. They had bears, cougars, wolves, other humans to contend with,
But they
right?
also had something else, constant connection to earth.
That's true.
Like
True.
they're always out there. So
Yeah.
even though you have predators that you might have to look out for and you have to fend for food and on and on and on, you had that grounding, that calm. And, some people think that's woo woo, go hug a tree, you get grounded. It's real. It's real. And the research has been done. They've even done research where taking your drive home from work, take the scenic route over the city route, and they've tested people's heart rate and everything. It's made such a huge difference in just taking that different way back.
Absolutely, because it's less traffic. There's less
there's scenery,
right? And then there's scenery, and you're like, wow, this actually is a nice drive, right? Because you don't have to focus too much on the person in front of you or worry about all the different cars around you.
Yes.
Right. Just like this week here, it's been so cold here, like really cold. Every morning for the last 5 days, it has been minus 40 Fahrenheit.
No way.
And so, yes.
Fahrenheit, 40?
Fahrenheit.
Minus?
Minus 40. Yes, minus.
All right. Well, I'm not going to complain because it was 56 today here. It's now 30.
See, that's balmy.
Hold tight. Hold tight. It's plummeting down. It'll go down to like 12 tonight and only 22 tomorrow, and same deal for the next day. But minus 40? I'm serious?
Minus 40. Serious.
It's not wind chill.
But that's with the wind.
Okay.
But okay, so minus 35, 33 to 35.
Fahrenheit.
No, so it would be about minus 30 or 29 Fahrenheit. I just don't know the conversion. I do know at minus 40, that's equal to Celsius.
Joan, how come that fireplace in back of you is not on?
Because I don't need it.
I have that thing blasting right now like a furnace. Unbelievable. Wow. But you know what?
I got candles going on. So
okay. All right. Well, you know what? Maybe the cold temperature forces you to, be inside and kind of, be in a more Zen feel. I don't know. You can't really go outside and take in nature so much.
No, the dogs don't like it either.
I don't blame them. But there, that's another thing too. Animals are grounded. Goes outside and walks on the ground. They are grounded. So there's something to be said there too. In terms of their life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Trees are amazing. If you touch them, you don't have to physically just hug them. Even if you because we have a lot of pine trees, and with yours, there's more leafy trees, right? So as long as you kind of brush it, or even sit underneath it, that helps a lot.
It doesn't have to be, full disclosure. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I'm sitting on a grounding mat. My butt is grounded.
Perfect. No, you have never.
No. And how does that work? Well, this connects to the mat, and the other side of this connects to the ground lug on any AC outlet, which goes to the ground. Every house is grounded by way of a copper wire to a pipe a rod that's made out of copper, 5 feet, goes into the ground. That's how
Yeah.
your house is grounded. So you can be
I actually have bed sheets like that.
Do you really?
Yes,
I didn't know they existed.
they do.
Steve is giving himself a Christmas present.
It's a grounding sheet. So you can have a fitted sheet or you can have just a regular sheet. And it's grounding.
Oh, I'm getting that. All right.
Right?
So cool. Well, great talking with you. Thanks for all the tips on calming. Your website is your name, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
JoanWiden.com.
And it's Joan, WIDEN.com. You're available for Reiki, intuitive life coaching. You're also a clairvoyant medium and energy healer and so much more. So if you look at you're stuck or you don't feel calm, something's not right. New year coming up. So yeah, reach out, JoanWiden.com. Happy holidays to you and your family too.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you. Happy New Year. Yay.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Most importantly, stay calm. Stay calm.
Yes, stay calm and enjoy and be safe.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.